Hello. So I live in the US, in Boston, but I graduated. And so now I'm traveling, I'm on the road. I was in Taiwan, Vietnam, now I'm in Thailand. Now tomorrow is gonna be a long flight and a very long day, but today I have something very cool that I wanna show you. Now what I wanna show you is this little thing right here. And so why am I showing you this? Well, obviously, this is a finance channel, an economics channel, a business channel, but AI is changing everything today. And so this channel, like many of those things in the world, is becoming infused with the benefits and the capabilities and experiments of artificial intelligence. And that brings us to this. We're at this place in the evolution of artificial intelligence where to date it is being largely bound by bits. The next wave or era of technology that is being promised to us is artificial intelligence in material form. Whether autonomous robots, self-driving cars, and this whole host of hardware that will enter our lives with artificial intelligence. And devices like these are the first manifestation of that wave. And it will be one of, if not the single greatest technological shift we have ever seen. And that's in terms of leverage, productivity, creativeness. We are metaphorically unleashing the shackles of the individual, because now an individual can replace previously the output, the ideas, the scale of a collective. And that's where you get the rumblings of the one-person billion-dollar business and these hints of a future that is driven by autonomy. But how does that start? Well, it starts with that new era of AI-infused hardware technologies to make us more productive, more creative, generally more of ourselves. And so this is the iFlyTek AI Note Air 2. And we're gonna walk through how AI is infused in this technology and how it can materially impact your life, your systems, your workflow for going about work, school, art, the whole 9 yards. So this is a smart tablet, an e-reader, a calendar, a note taker, and an AI companion all in one. So we're gonna walk through that. Let's go. Although it is absolutely boiling here, so I think I'm going to change. Okay, now we are ready to go. Hello. So even before the AI integrations, I think a trend that's building in parallel with AI is voice, in large part because of AI, and we're seeing voice integrate a lot more seamlessly into the tech that we use really across the board. The Air 2 lets you record and transcribe your voice and the voices of others in real time in over a dozen languages, and I'll get into why specifically this is so useful to me, but generally just check this out.
So we can see here that my voice is being recorded in real time. I can also take what notes I would like as I do that. So I can be on a meeting getting this recording and I can be taking notes. Now you can see if I click right here in this English Russian little button, I can select from any number of the languages. You can see all of those languages in this voice to text panel. And if I click translation, you can see one that I've already set up, that being the English to Russian translation. So I'll select that, and then now if I switch from original to trans, let's let that focus, then you can see my voice will be recorded in Russian and transcribed in real time. Let's get a close-up there so you can see right now that I'm speaking in English and it's recording in Russian. And again, I can take some more notes as I do that. So we're getting that translation in Russian. I can change to any other number of languages as well. And I'm taking the notes simultaneously.
And of course, that's all synced to the cloud and to the mobile app. That said, of course, the big thing here is AI. So how is AI actually used in this tablet? Now I'm going to go get myself a $1 boba and finish up this work sesh before we do that, and then we'll go take a look at those AI features. And this, at least in my opinion, is where it gets really cool. So there are three main AI features. There's the AI search, AI conversations, and finally AI meeting summaries. My personal favorite is the AI search, so I want to show you how to do that now. So by training, I'm an economist. I would have hoped you'd guess that by now, given the videos on this channel. But let's say I'm trying to understand or do research about or augment some kind of economic model. Well, if I write the model down on a page by hand, which is how at least I prefer to learn things, by actually writing out the model by hand, I can just press on this little button that you can see right now, and then I can drag to select what I'm looking at. And then you'll see these pop-ups, and right there I can click AI search. I can also click join to do, which adds that to a to-do list, which is pretty cool. But for the AI search, I'll press on that, and then it'll automatically transcribe that into text, and then it'll feed that into ChatGPT. So ChatGPT can tell me about that model and can explain it. I can do the same if I have a complicated equation, like let's say I'm trying to take the first order conditions of some, complicated thing. I can do the same there, where I just highlight or I circle it, I ask AI about it, and it can help me through that problem. Same thing with definitions of words, or if I'm reading a book, there's a whole range of applications for AI search that I personally find really useful because it's easier than having to take out my phone, go to a computer. I can just really keep it self-contained to the tablet. Now next we have AI meeting summaries, and that starts with what we were just speaking about with the translation and transcription. Now exporting the full transcription, converting it to text, exporting it as a PDF, that's all useful. But what we can also do is then summarize that with AI and then just share, say via email, that concatenated summarized version of the meeting. So let's say I've been recording myself for a few minutes, or I've been on a meeting for an hour with 6 different people. So after I've recorded that right here, then what I can do is click this little icon right in the top bar that says meeting summary, and then I'll just click continue. And then that'll generate a summary that I can, again, share with people or just keep for my own personal notes about that event. And I want to touch on one other note as well about that to-do function we saw when we were doing the AI search. So you can see right here, if I click join to do, then I can add, I can click confirm right there. And now if I go over to the calendar, to the scheduling side, and I click on to do right here, then I can see that this note was put in the to-do list. So that way you can be writing out things, you can be thinking about things and kind of writing them in a more free-form way, and then formally add them to a to-do list that you can click right there as checked and done for the day. And that then, of course, plugs into the calendar so you can see to-do things today, weekly, monthly, etc. Now the final big AI feature here in the way it's integrated in the tablet is just chatting, or actually having a conversation with AI, just like you would on the ChatGPT portal or with any other AI model. And this is one of those ways in which AI is integrated really centrally to this tablet, and again, that wider trend of AI being integrated into hardware. So if we just look at this big button on the bottom here and we swipe on that, it'll open our AI chats. And so you can see some of the prompts here, but also this opens the keyboard and I can just type with the pen with my fingers what I want to ask the ChatGPT. Like, for example, what should I title my video about the iFlyTech AI Note Air 2. Then I can click send, I can talk back and forth with the AI, and those chats are saved in the left little modal here. So there we go, we have AI search, my personal favorite, we have AI meeting summaries, and AI chats. Now what I don't feel like I've touched on yet in this review is kind of personally how on the ground I use it, in what domains, in what ways. So that's how I want to wrap this up. And we'll talk about some of the other features and also just how ones we have talked about work in a more practical sense. However, I have a flight to catch, so that is priority number 1, and then we'll talk more about this. So that's what we're doing next. Let's go. I made it. So I want to wrap this up with 3 of the core use cases that some of these features actually translate into, at least in my real life. So we can talk about features all we want, but at the end of the day, really, it's how do those features impact you and how can you actually use them? So for number 1, as you know, like I said earlier as well, I'm an economics student and an economist by training. And specifically for that kind of study, as well as just for school generally, you're dealing with a lot of notes and a lot of equations. And so that makes first being able to translate notes that you write digitally into a PDF to share or export them really useful, as well as being able to document scan. And this is something I have not touched on prior. So you can see me doing it right here. You can just take a picture of any kind of notes and then upload them to the storage on the tablet. So the combination of that, as well as being able to write notes digitally, export, share them again, is something that I find very useful as a student. Now for number 2, if you followed the channel for a while, or maybe you've seen videos like these, you'll know that I have written for a long time. It's something I very much enjoy. And voice to text is a whole different modality and a very useful one to writing with your fingers. And both an ideation as well as an actual writing of mine, I find that voice to text is extremely useful and often faster, and something that I can go and then shape up later into its kind of final form. The Air 2 has voice and writing sync, so you can do both at the same time. I already mentioned voice to text, and in terms of actual writing, the tablet recognizes over 83 handwritten languages, which is pretty cool. Now for number 3, work-wise in my life, I have a lot of meetings to take, a lot of Zooms and Google Meets. So the real-time transcription and translation and meeting summaries, all things we've talked about prior in this video, are useful for meetings of a whole variety of sorts. In addition to being able to take notes by hand, which at least personally I like to do while you're in a meeting. That said, I've had a blast using this thing, and like I said, it's been very cool seeing this emergence of AI now, not just in software, but in the hardware domain as well. So if you want the iFlyTek AI Note Air 2 for yourself, you can visit this website link or an Amazon link, and you can check the description for those links. And that said, I will see you in the next one. Cheers.